So the Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Olympics kicked off, and it was supposed to be this huge global celebration of sport and unity. But, within just a few hours, the entire conversation online just flipped. Thousands of people started claiming they hadn't just watched a ceremony, they'd witnessed a full-blown ritual.
I mean, the broadcast was barely even over when social media just erupted. This comment here on X is a perfect example of a theory that went absolutely viral, that the whole ceremony was just packed with hidden, and some even said, satanic symbols.
So yeah, a ceremony sparks controversy. Let's look at how this global event became the center of a huge viral theory. People online, basically acting like digital detectives, started dissecting the whole thing, frame by frame. They were convinced that the organizers had embedded all these hidden symbols, turning a celebration of sports into something way more sinister.
And that brings us to the main accusation, right? The very heart of this theory, that the opening ceremony wasn't a party, it was a televised ritual. To really understand their point of view, we need to look at the specific things they cited. Sources like the YouTube channel Candid Truth argued that this whole event was a meticulously planned ritual broadcast to millions.
Okay, so let's try to decode these alleged symbols. We're going to take a step-by-step look at the elements that really poured fuel on this fire. And we've got to start with the most prominent one, the one image that truly set the internet ablaze.
The whole controversy really ignited with the lighting of the Olympic cauldron. As the flames all came together, a lot of viewers were absolutely convinced they saw a very distinct shape form, an inverted pentagram.
And that single image? Wow, it became the cornerstone of the whole theory. For people who subscribe to this view, the symbol's meaning completely transformed the ceremony from a celebration into something else entirely.
But it wasn't just about the shape, according to these online commentators. It was also about the color. They pointed to a very deliberate shift in the lighting right as the cauldron was lit, and they argued it had a much deeper symbolic meaning.
According to this interpretation, that visual shift from blue to red wasn't just a random lighting choice. No, it was seen as a symbolic act, an attempt to bring spiritual ideas or even entities into our physical world.
And it did not stop with the cauldron. Observers claimed they saw a whole pattern of other symbols woven throughout the ceremony. We're talking everything from one-eye symbolism in the choreography and 666 hand signs to the stage itself being a sun symbol portal. They even pointed to costumes with rings of Saturn and a figure they said represented Lucifer as the light bearer. For them, it all pointed to one big hidden theme.
So if we follow this theory, these aren't just isolated symbols, right? The key claim is that they all connect to form a ritual, and that leads to the next logical question. A ritual for what?
Right. What was the supposed goal of this global ritual? Well, according to that Candid Truth source, all of these elements weren't just a random collection of spooky symbols. They were believed to serve a combined singular purpose, aimed at everybody watching around the world.
This is where the theory really culminates. It's alleged the ceremony was designed to do a few things: summon a solar deity like Apollo, open a portal for spiritual entities to enter our world, and, this is the big one, gain the consent of the millions of people watching. The idea is that by having the world watch and applaud, the organizers were getting our unwitting permission to bring in a new global era, a so-called new order.
And the final performance of the night by Mariah Carey was also seen as a key part of this whole thing. It was framed as a sort of summoning song, specifically because of the lyrics and her style of singing.
The connection that theorists made was really specific. They interpreted her repetitive, high-pitched vocals as a kind of summoning chant, and that lyric, "Nothing is impossible," was directly linked to the biblical story of the Tower of Babel, the tale of humanity uniting to basically challenge the divine.
Okay, so that is the theory, and it's full of some pretty rich, symbolic interpretation. But to get the full picture, we have to ask, how did the mainstream media report on this explosion of online analysis?
Mainstream news outlets, like this article from the Hindustan Times, definitely acknowledged the social media backlash. I mean, it was impossible to ignore. They reported on the claims, they reported on the viral spread of the theory, but they also made sure to clearly state that these were unsubstantiated theories with no concrete evidence to back them up.
And, if all of this feels a little familiar, it's because it is. This is not the first time a major ceremony has been interpreted this way. If you look back, you can see a clear pattern of very similar controversies.
I mean, just look at the 2024 Paris Olympics.
There was a performance that got criticized by some Christian groups because they said it looked too much like the Last Supper. Organizers even ended up apologizing for it. It just goes to show that these Olympic ceremonies have become real flashpoints for cultural and religious interpretation recently.
And this really brings us to the core of the issue, doesn't it? It leaves us with a pretty big question. When millions and millions of people all watch the exact same event at the exact same time, how do we navigate the millions of different interpretations that come from it? It shows that in our super-connected world, there often isn't a single shared reality. Instead, one event can fracture into countless truths because so often what we see is just a reflection of what we already believe.